All right, last up, we're gonna talk about Stack, Steven Jackson. And I called this, man, because I feel like at the end, when we talked about Ja Morant on the last stream, I said Ja, because I think you brought up Allen Iverson.
Yes.
And I said, Allen Iverson would be a good person for Ja Morant to kind of have a sit down with. Just don't have a sit down with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. I think that's what I said. And right on cue, here's Steven Jackson with the defense. Here's Steven Jackson with the defense video. So Steven Jackson went online. I think he was on Instagram, put out a video criticizing people who he felt were criticizing Ja Morant for making a mistake. Now, whoever uploaded this video to World Star, I think that they were being very clickbaity because Steven Jackson did not specifically reference Stephen A. Smith or Shannon Sharp in this video. He didn't reference any particular person in the media. He was speaking in general. So I think the title of this video is clickbaity, and I'm not going to fall for that trap. I'm not going to sit up here on this channel and say Steven Jackson was taking shots at Stephen A. Smith or Shannon Sharp. But nevertheless, Steven Jackson did come out in strong defense of Ja Morant for making a mistake, and he came out in strong opposition to what he perceives to be black people in the media who were coming to tear Ja Morant down for making a mistake. So, interesting stuff. We'll go ahead and listen to Stack. Stack has a problem with people in the with black folks in the media tearing down prominent black people like Ja Morant. So here's what Stack had to say, and then we'll give our 2 cents after we watch the video.
Stack.
I've never seen so many of my people. I seen it with me when me and Ron got into that trouble. I seen it a little bit, especially with the black people on TV. I seen it. A lot that's still on TV right now, just like Jermaine O'Neal said on the Broad thing, they still owe me an apology. And they on TV right now, but I ain't never asked them for it. That's what J.O. said, because the way they talked about me. But check it out. It's so many of our people that I see that seem like they happy that Ja made a mistake.
What?
And they to kick him while he down and say, I told you so. It's our own people, though. And that's crazy, bro. That's why I always tell the youngsters, bro, do you, bro. Stand on your own, you like the way you want to. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really bothered me to see so many of us happy and all jumping in together to kick Ja while he down. Sad. It's another thing. I don't want to hear nothing about it. It's about holding him accountable. Half of y'all scared to look in the mirror and hold yourselves accountable for the shit y'all done wrong, or the person y'all doing wrong right now, or the lie you holding on to right now. You just lied to somebody, and you scared to go tell them the truth. So stop it. Everybody got their own shit going on. None of y'all perfect, and neither am I. We all got our shit going on. So I don't want to hear no shit about this about holding him accountable. It ain't for you to hold him accountable. It's for him to hold himself accountable. That's the only person. All y'all talking about it, we just trying to hold him accountable. It's not for you to do. It's for you to go in the mirror and hold yourself accountable for the shit you done in the last week that you ain't clearing up. Y'all got to stop it, bro. Everybody want to play God now. Y'all got to stop it. Y'all far from it. We all got flaws. We all got mistakes. But we all human. And we all did shit we had to recover from. Y'all got to stop it. Hold yourself accountable.
The people that like co-sign this man, because I'm pretty sure in the comment section of this video, he had people just, yeah, you right about that. They quick to throw stones. Oh, these people out here, they acting like they weren't young.
Right.
This is the very talking points that has caused purple hair, social justice warriors, men in women's bathrooms, men competing in women's sports. Hey, I got my crap. They got body positivity. This is the
all
same,
of that.
Yeah, this is the same logic. Hey, I got mine. Everybody got theirs. Let them do them. Hey, young people out there, do you? What? No, do you? You don't even know who you are. So why would you do that? Calm down. It's Steven Jackson. I mean, when I saw this, I was like, of course, a grown man acting like a child is defending a grown ass kid, a grown ass person, man, acting like a child. And so for him to go, hey, man, I used to do the same thing. I said the same thing last week. I said I used to do the same thing Ja did. So I understand where he's coming from, but I understand he needs to stop. Nobody out here is tearing Ja down.
Exactly. Everybody
is going, you're messing. Everybody knows how hard it is out here. And even for millionaire celebrity athletes, everybody, for the most part, likes to see people winning nowadays. So when Ja started doing this dumb stuff, we're like, the masses were like, you're messing up a bag. The league has chosen you, dude. The streets chose you first. The league is choosing you now because they see that all the young people love you. Ride this wave and make hundreds of millions of dollars and ride your wave to being a billionaire. But waving your gun, acting like dudes like you're on that's on a block that won't even touch $1 billion, even with all their street money. You trying to act like them? So of course we're going to call that out. It's ridiculous behavior. So I called it last week, like the internet is having an intervention with him, trying to tell him to slow down. But for him to say that black media is anxious to tear down Ja shows how narrow his worldview is. If he genuinely believes this, and I think he does.
He does.
He lives so much in that reality that he defends it. It's like what Morpheus said in the Matrix. You could try to get these people out of the Matrix if you want, but some of these people are so attached to it that they'll kill you just to defend it. So you can't save nobody that ain't unplugged. Sorry, Stack 5. I don't think you're unplugged. Especially if you're checking in on O Block in your mid-40s.
Grown ass man checking in.
Checking in. Hey, I'm checking in. I'm just, hey, do you, Ja?
He's perpetuating a lot. He's perpetuating, when he does stuff like that, he's perpetuating the very same types of mentalities that get people like Ja Morant in trouble.
I mean,
and then he says he made a mistake.
Exactly. I mean, I got more to say on this, but how about you, sir? This to me, it made perfect sense for somebody who has childish behavior to defend childish behavior. So how do you feel?
He's being on brand. He's being on brand because this is who he's been. So at least he's consistent. I got to give him that much. And I said it. I'm just like, if there's anybody in the media who's going to antagonize the majority of the people in the media who aren't coming at Ja Morant, they're just saying, hey, bro, this was a bad mistake. Hopefully you can learn from this because there's a lot at stake if you continue down this road. That's not tearing somebody down. That's just open and honest dialogue. And look, the media machine is what it is. So because we hero worship these athletes, whenever these things happen, they play out publicly. And then the debate shows talk about it. That's the way the machine works. But so if you want to address the fact that it's being talked about ad nauseum, that's one thing. But he's suggesting that people were coming at Ja Morant, trying to tear him down. To me, that's ridiculous. Like, when this happened, I watched these shows. I watched these opinion shows, one after the next. No one was blaming him for anything. Nobody. They were just saying, hey, this was a bad mistake. It's a bad look. You have a lot at stake. It doesn't look good. It's unfortunate. And, hopefully you can right the ship so that none of this happens again. That's the extent of what I don't consider that to be criticism. But if you are to consider that criticism, that is the extent of any criticism that was levied towards Ja Morant. No one was coming at him. Nobody. So I don't know what the hell he's talking about. But see, here's the thing with Steven Jackson. What Steven Jackson was really doing was speaking in defense of Ja Morant, but Ja Morant was a proxy for himself.
Exactly.
That's what this was. That's what this was. Ja Morant was a proxy for Steven Jackson.
Yeah.
Because to this day, Steven Jackson believes that he was publicly dragged through the mud unfairly for that Malice in the Palace situation.
Right.
To this day, he still talks about that at times when it's brought up in conversation, whether he's on Up in Smoke or on any other show that he might be on. There's some resentment that he harbors towards the NBA and the media for the fallout from that situation. He views himself as collateral damage because of what happened in that situation. He looks at himself as a victim. He was treated unfairly because he feels as though he was never allowed to adequately recover from a PR standpoint for a mistake that he made. So he's putting himself in the shoes of Ja Morant and saying, stop coming at Ja Morant unfairly because of in the same way that you came at me unfairly. So this is really about Steven Jackson, and it's not about Ja Morant. That's my opinion. He's infusing himself into the situation and using Ja Morant as a proxy to continue to try to vindicate himself.
Right.
That's what this is about for me. That's how I look at that. Because no reasonable, rational, logical person can look at the media coverage and honestly believe that black media is coming to try to tear Ja Morant down. No one's doing that. Nobody's doing that. Especially in this day and age when it's all about damn near worshiping the black athlete because of the social justice rhetoric that we got going on out here. Corporate America and these sponsors, they're all about trying to at least make it look like they support black people in any way that they can. No one's coming at him. Yeah, no one's coming at him in that way. Who are these people who's doing this? You know, like the title of the video says Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp. But like I said, I'm not going to go that far because Steven Jackson didn't mention them by name. So to that end, I would say to Steven Jackson, who are you talking about? Who is saying these? Who is saying this stuff? Who? I don't know it. You don't know it. I watch these shows in my office all day. I didn't hear anybody tearing Ja Morant down. No. I didn't hear it.
No,
I didn't hear it. So this is something that he has imagined in his mind that he is trying to use as a way to continue. I think that he is living vicariously through Ja Morant. He's attempting to vindicate himself for past wrongdoings. That's what I think. And he gets to conveniently play upon the card of, you know, essentially black on black crime in the media because he knows that he can rally a lot of black people behind that rhetoric. Because, you know, I've talked about the Black Collective all the time on this channel. When you say something that's in line with the Black Collective, enough of the black people who believe this stuff will come out and they'll support you because that's consistent with the messaging for black people. If you speak out against it, then you get raked through the coals. So Steve, you know, Stack, if you will, he's smart enough to know that he can say something like this and get a lot of support from people within the black community, because you will have people in the black community who will parrot this kind of speech, who, despite all of the evidence to the contrary, will still lean on this idea that people in Ja Morant's position are being persecuted, when really he's not. He's not. But Stack will get the support of those who believe that, and it's a decent enough amount of us who will support that kind of rhetoric. And so he'll look like he's righteous in saying these things because he'll have enough people who will support him, when really it's an imaginary fight. No one's coming at this kid. All they're saying is, hey, bro, this was a bad look. It looks bad. You made a bad mistake. You're a $200 million athlete. You got shoes. You're on Powerade bottles. No one thinks that you're cool. No one is going to think that you're not cool if you're not doing IG live videos in a strip club waving a gun. Like, that type of behavior is not directly tethered to your coolness or lack thereof. No one's trying to take that away from you. So there's no need to capitulate to this behavior. You're good. You don't need to be in the streets. You're good. That's all people are saying. But Stack, street champion guy who made a mistake and still feels some type of way about the way he was treated, is going to use this as an opportunity to continue to defend himself. And that's what this boils down to me. So I disagree with it 100%. put some names on it. Where are your receipts? Who in the black media is coming to try to tear Ja Morant down? Maybe if he sort of puts some names on it, shows some receipts, maybe I'll be willing to validate his claims a little more. But until he does that, to me, this is just a whole lot of words and language that need to go up in smoke, pun intended.
Yeah, well said. And I've watched Steven Jackson interviews because I was a fan of Steven Jackson, man. When the Malice thing happened, I did think that it was a little much. I didn't co-sign that, but it was a part of me that respected the realness of him. That had nothing to do with him, but I'm gonna go defend Artest.
Right.
And so it was a part about that I liked. But then as his career went on, I realized there was who ran into that crowd was a man who wasn't all the way wired right. He just wasn't right in the head to me. So it seems like he can do other things like that. Now, would it have to be violent? No, but there's a line. Marcellus Wiley had a video talking about this situation. And there was a part about Steven Jackson where he was talking about, hey, man, if there was social media out there when y'all was coming up, y'all would have got exposed like this too. Blah, 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 blah. And way worse, you know. And, you know, Marcellus said he got to thinking about it. And he said, you know what? I was a wild guy. But at the same time, there's a thing that clicks in his mind when he gets to think about that. He's like, well, there's always been rules. And so there's people who follow rules, who know the rules and then follow them. And then there's people who know the rules and choose not to. Those generally break down around the same percentages. So even if you did give that old school people social media, they would have known what to come with it. They would have behaved themselves. Right. And the ones that would have got outed, Dennis Rodman, would have been the ones that got outed in the 90s.
Right.
Dennis Rodman.
Right.
You know, and all these other people. It's just like, oh, tabloid names, you know, Karl Malone, this and that.
That's correct. Because according to that logic, everybody now, because of social media, should be getting exposed.
Exactly. Thank you.
And we don't see every athlete getting exposed like that. It's only the ones who carry that mentality.
And it's the same knuckleheads.
Yeah.
And when you boil it down, there's like a knucklehead behavior that they have. There's something there that's off. And so it's just like, okay, well, that's what it is. The more this Ja stuff plays out, he is coming off like a knucklehead. And, you know, all this stuff, well, you're a good kid. Yeah, he's a good kid, but he could be a knucklehead.
Yes, correct.
And so, and all of this behavior is displaying that. And it was another story that went on, you know, alleged, you know, when him pulling up to a school, you know, because somebody was talking crap to his sister. So his sister just, hey, well, you know, calls her brother. And, you know, sisters call their brothers to school all the time, but you're not Ja Morant. And then so he allegedly shows up to school with his mama and all these other people, the same gang. So that when I heard that story, I was like, oh, this is like a deep-rooted family problem. They all think off. Mm-hmm. And that whole family's 100 millionaires. And that whole family don't know how to get their ego under control. And they gassing that boy up. And they got him out here looking crazy. But the people that were asking for support, the people that were asking for him to give him structure, as we alluded to last week, it's not even the fact that they have the ability and they don't because they don't want to mess up the bag or get cut off from the bag. I don't even think they have it.
They don't.
And so they gave a whole family hundreds of $millions that don't know how to act. That's that family that moved in, you know, a couple houses over, and there's always cars outside. There's always noise. You know what I'm saying? 4th of July come around, they're shooting in the air. It was a quiet neighborhood until they moved in. That's how they family act. So when you see the whole story, you go, hey man, maybe you know, because this past week we had more news come out and more details, and it's like, hey, maybe he wasn't maybe he is a little, you know, maybe he needs help, you know, because it sounds like the people that's around him raised him to be a hood nigga. Hey man, you got to rep, you got to do this, you got to do that. And the more I look at T, the more it looks like that's how he is.
Yes.
And it's like, hey man,
I got that impression of T on draft night.
I didn't pick that up.
Draft night.
I didn't pick that up.
I picked it up on draft night with the way he was talking. And it was just like, it is what it is. But to me, it was just like, this is just this. I've seen that type of family set up many, many, many times, especially in that sport. So to me, it was just normal.
Yeah, they family acting like they won the lotto. They acting like a family that won the lottery, and they just don't know how to act. So I don't know what's going on with the Powerade thing. Allegedly, I don't know the status on that, but I think they pulled it. First, it was just the ad getting pulled. Now I don't know if his whole sponsorships getting pulled. And and this is exactly what I was saying last week of this type of behavior. If it hasn't already, it's going to hurt sponsorships that you already have or in the future. So you can forget about more big time contracts, at least within the immediate.
Yeah.
And one more thing, Gilbert Arenas was trying to give him advice and stuff like that. And his last bit of advice, he said, you're not going to like us. But he was like, you know, because you're going to have to shut this down and just go away for like 2 or 3 years and just go to work and play basketball. While you're doing that, he recommended that he cut his hair as well. Now, for me, I was like, hey, come on. Hey, Dad, cut your hair for these people. But
I don't know.
I'm thinking, but there's a layer to it in the sense of, along with cleaning up your image, you also, you know, but your behavior, you also have to clean up your image and show those corporate sponsors that I am a changed man. And if you do want, and if you want that $75 million contract, and you know, but you still around here, multicolored wicks, Ja, they're gonna, I don't know if this guy's changed. But if you cut the hair off, you know, you still got the visible tattoos, but you just go away, you just make all-stars, you average your 30 a game, the 75's coming back around. Because Kobe did it too. After the Colorado thing, cut his hair, you know, he goes bald. He did a whole image revamp. He got tattoos. He did a whole image revamp. He still never really recovered from that either. I mean, it's still getting brought up.
Especially not like culturally, he never did.
Nah, that was still getting brought up.
His basketball identity recovered, but not his PR image. Not fully.
Yeah. So honestly, I don't know what to save his Ja's PR at this point. When you come off like this, because it's already bad enough, man. They already follow you around in grocery stores. They already think you're going to rob them every time you pop up somewhere. So you don't need to give them the reason to think that you're even more of a thug than you already are.
Yeah.
And then now you're giving them more reason. Now it's all the more reason why I'm not paying this guy. Because would I give Ja $100 million if he's going to go to prison in 2 years? Or if he's going to get suspended for a whole season because of something dumb? I wouldn't give him $100 million. So, yeah, man, it's wild. And nobody's cheering for this. We're actually telling him to get off the top rope before he hurts himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
that does not mean criticism. Yeah, that does not mean he's being torn down. No. It's just excessive rhetoric on the part of Steven Jackson. And that's the kind of stuff that gets on my nerves because you inflame the situation by coming at it with your own overinflated ideology. Like no one is trying to tear him down. It's just the nature of what we're looking at here. And you know, one area in which I will sort of say Steven Jackson has a point is we have an unhealthy culture of hero worship in this society where we look at these pro athletes in particular, and because they've made it to the point in which they have gotten there, we attach some semblance of like goodwill and good character to them. And it's like sometimes these guys might just be knuckleheads. So it's all about the management of expectations. If we change some of the way that we hero worship these athletes and manage our expectations and look at them as flawed human beings who are capable of doing dumb shit, then when they do dumb shit, maybe there won't be this media circus around the conversation of the fact that they did dumb shit, which would calm people like Steven Jackson down, who look at any kind of talk around the scenario as you're coming at him and tearing him down. Like, no one's tearing the kid down, but there are a lot of ancillary conversations that do go on when a lot of this stuff takes place that if you wanted to argue were excessive, I would entertain that conversation. But I think that the excessiveness inherent in the conversation comes from the fact that we worship these people to the extent that we have an expectation of them to be pristine when they're not actually pristine. And Ja Morant has a history of not being pristine. So, like, you know, whether it's the kid at his house and he flashed a gun at the kid, allegedly, you know, or this situation, or the pointing lasers at somebody in a tunnel, allegedly, or one associate of his getting kicked out of an arena. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to cast aspersions on his character, but there's a body of work here with him, which suggests the kid might be a knucklehead. And look, man, it is what it is. That's okay. But if he wants to be a $200 million athlete, running roughshod on corporate America, making all of this money, you can't be a knucklehead and do that stuff. So the media is going to say you might want to tone this down. That doesn't mean that people are tearing him down. And that's the disconnect that I have with somebody like Steven Jackson, who wants to automatically leap to the conclusion that Ja Morant is this victim who's being torn down by black people in the media. I don't see that. I think that that's taking it too far. But like I said, in my opinion, I think Steven Jackson is putting himself into the conversation and is using Ja Morant as a proxy to talk about himself, because he feels like he was treated unfairly. And I will agree with you. Back when that happened, I also thought that it was heavy-handed. Like, he was running to the stand. It looked real bad because they were fighting fans. I get it. But the man did have he had like a beer bottle thrown at him. That's an aggressive act, in my opinion. Right. And so Ron Artest ran into the stands and mayhem ensued. It is what it is. And so they ended up getting suspended for a whole year or something like that. And the ensuing rhetoric after it was over, there was a lot of racial innuendo associated with that I thought was heavy-handed. So I do think that a lot of that, when it was going on, was unfair, even though I don't believe in fairness, towards Steven Jackson. But I also think that it's unreasonable for him to infuse himself into this situation, because I don't think it's the same thing. I don't think anyone is coming at Ja Morant and trying to tear him down. I think that is it's an oversimplification of what's actually taking place, which is just people saying you can't be running around doing this stuff, and just don't be a knucklehead if you want to be a $1 billion athlete. Like, it is what it is. If you don't like it, then continue to be a knucklehead, but don't have this expectation that you can still be a $1 billion athlete.
Man. Guaranteed billion,
right?
That boy's going to be a guarantee. And I'm not saying he can't get to it now, but it was guaranteed before.
It was coming for sure.
It was on the way, because that was the Powerade was just going to be the first of many,
right?
And
he was going to be the only NBA player, to my knowledge. I have to quote, fact check me on this one, but I believe he was the only NBA player who was going to be like on the Powerade bottles. Like, he was going to be the first one in a while, and he was going to be the only NBA player to be on Powerade bottles. And his shoe deal was a shoe deal that he got because Nike fired Kyrie because of Kyrie's shenanigans. So Nike fired Kyrie, and they only had one slot open for a signature shoe for a basketball player, because there's a limit to how many of them that they do. And they gave it to him. They chose him to be the guy to fill that slot. And you know how many other players would love for that opportunity, and he got it because he's Ja, and he's this generation's Allen Iverson. The kids love him, like you said. The kids love him. And so there's responsibility that comes along with doing these things. And if you want to be able to enjoy the fruits of this labor, you're going to have to take on those responsibilities. That's the way America works. It is what it is. I didn't make this up. It's the way it's set up. So if you still want him to be able to run amok and do crazy stuff, then let's remove him from that opportunity. But to suggest such a thing doesn't mean that he's being torn down. That's ridiculous.
Yep. And I'll say this for anybody out there, the NBA and the NFL, those are jobs. They don't need your ass. Unless you're, Durant, Curry, superstar, so elite that nobody can deny how trill you is. If you're just an NBA player, you're expendable and they'll wash away your career. We've seen it before where people just careers was like, hey man, this guy can easily drop 20. Why isn't he getting in games? Why won't anybody sign this guy? Now, it might be a little bit of knucklehead to that guy, but it's also a degree of him getting blackballed out of the league. Well, why is it? It's clearly not because of what he does on the court. So it might be stuff off the court. He might be a little too combative in practice or something. He might be doing too much drinking and partying, or he just whatever. The word out on the street on him, nobody wants to hire him. So he can come in, boom, 6-man, whatever, you name it. He can drop 20 a game, you give him whatever time. But he not in the league no more. And I think people work themselves out of the league more with character situations. There's skill too, but there's also character situations where they go, you know what, you're not going to play. I don't like you. I don't like you. No,
Francis.
Yeah, Francis. He was a combo of both. That boy, he had the knucklehead thing going.
He played his way out of the league, I think. Yeah, because he was good enough talent-wise, but he did dumb shit.
Yeah,
he did dumb shit.
And same thing for like with the when the Kaepernick situation happened and people talking all this stuff, and it's like, look, man, the NFL's a job. They don't owe him anything. It is a job. And so, it's collusion. Nobody wants to sign. Nobody wants that headache. Because as soon as they sign him, all of this crap. Now everybody got to answer questions about Kaepernick every day. Nothing about the game. It's just all this crap. And who wants that kind of media storm on my organization, on my lawn? So is there a degree of it where it's like, yeah, but I think the whole Kaepernick thing is stemmed from, hey man, you're hot. Nobody wants to hire you. It has nothing to do with your skill and nothing like that. It's too much going on with you. So the same thing, not to say that Ja's going to be out of the league and nothing crazy like that. I'm relating this to the situation where he's going to be out of sponsorships. Mm-hmm. People aren't going to hire him now because of his resume. Right. And so you have to see that even though you're a professional athlete, you still have resume and you still have a job and a career that you have to look after. People think it's just because you're making so much money and you're dunking a ball that none of those things apply anymore. I'm in the league, so I'm entitled. You're not. You still have a job. Not. Right. Yeah. And so, man, there's so many guys in the league that I know can hoop, but there's only so many people can play per minutes per game. There's politics involved. You got to play the game. It's a job. And only the super cream rises to the top where it doesn't apply to them. But everybody else, nah, man, it's a job. And you better behave like that. And Ja is not treating this like a professional job. He's playing. He's not,
yeah. And I would argue that the people at the top who could get away with it, they still don't act like that anyway. So it's a moot point. Because LeBron ain't doing that. Curry ain't doing that. Right. They're just not going to do it. Right. Think back to other guys, people like Derek Jeter, people who are at the top of the top. There you can Mahomes, just go down the list. They're at the top of the top, and so you can say that they're immune to this kind of stuff, but it's null and void because they wouldn't do this kind of behavior anyway. They just wouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. And Ja Morant's current deal is 5 years, $193 million. That was a rookie extension. Ooh. 5 years, 193. So $200 million athlete, and his next max deal after this one would have easily would easily surpass that. Easily. The
Oh,
only
yeah.
reason why it's 5 years, 193 is because it's a rookie max extension. He's not getting the max that they can offer a veteran superstar. But once he's out of that window of getting rookie money, it can like Curry's deal is like 230 million or something like that. His contract can easily be more than that. So there's just a lot at stake with this guy. And it's not tearing him down to say, we don't want to see you we don't want to see you lose those opportunities because of this kind of thing. Because it's ridiculous. You don't need to do this. You don't need to act like this. So yeah, I'm not with Steven Jackson on this stuff at all, or people who like to parrot this kind of speech. This is not tantamount to anybody tearing this kid down. It's just knucklehead behavior begets knuckleheaded consequences. It is what it is. And we need to stop conflating being a knucklehead with making a mistake that needs to be forgiven and not critiqued in any kind of way. Like this is
a trend.
Yeah. Like we need to stop it with this crap. Like it's ridiculous. Like he did a dumb thing. Like it is what it is. But whatever, man. He's supposedly in some kind of help center here in Florida. Go figure. I still don't know what kind of help he's seeking. I don't know. I still don't know what that means. But there is a growing suspicion that he might be done for the year. I hope that that's not the case, but that's what is being that's what is sort of being informally.
Oh, because reported. Of that gun crap. They need to stop. He ain't put that crap on the plane. Y'all need to slow down.
No. It would have nothing to do with league rules. It would just have to do with whatever his treatment is. That's what I'm saying. There's so much ambiguity because of whatever help he's getting. No one knows what that means. So I don't know. It is what it is. But
stay safe, Joe.
Yeah, for real. I'm pulling for the guy. And I just, anybody out there, don't listen to Steven Jackson.
Please don't.
Don't listen to Steven Jackson.
Please don't. He's that weird dude that come to your elementary school trying to, hey, let me put up some shots. Like, what you talking about, bro? Hey, let me put up some shots. Hey, keep doing what you're doing, young man. What? Get out of here, Steven. Get out of here, dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you 40 plus checking in Memphis. So, it is what it is, man. Yeah, he's mind controlled just like Ja Morant is. That's why I said Steven Jackson is just an older Ja Morant. Yeah, he's an older he's under the same mind control that Ja Morant is. Just Ja Morant happens to be 23. But
sad, dude.
I don't know, man. But stay up, Ja, man. That's gonna conclude it for tonight's video. Great stream, great topics. Appreciate everybody for tuning in on the stream. Also appreciate everybody for watching this video. If you're watching it as the standalone upload, stay tuned to all content that gets published to the Conscious Approach channel by hitting that subscribe button. We certainly appreciate you joining the tribe as we race towards 1,000 subscribers. We certainly appreciate the support. Go ahead and like the video, leave a comment because we always engage and pay attention to comments. If you are watching this video on the Meta page, go ahead and follow the page, like the page, share this video wherever you're seeing it, whether it's on social media or YouTube. We certainly appreciate it. You can follow the Conscious Approach page on Instagram at ConApproach, ConApproach. Also be on the lookout for the audio RSS feed. We will start to upload the audio version of all of our streams so that you can listen to them in audio form wherever you listen to your podcast, whether it's, Pandora, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of that good stuff. Check out the website as well, consciousapproach.com. You can also find me on Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS. So until the next video, continue to check out what we're doing here on this channel on YouTube, and we certainly appreciate you supporting this logical content.
Yep. And the name is Dogon SS. You can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS or on YouTube at Dogon_SS. Also on YouTube at Hurricane Dogon. Goddamn. Videos are dropping very soon. All right. And thanks, guys, as JV Wynn said earlier, for joining us, man. We really do appreciate this, man. And come join us every Tuesday night, man. We just be chilling and shit, man. So enjoy the vibes. And join us. Just chill out with us. You know, post a comment while we go live. We'll comment off the comment. You know, we'll go off of that. You know, get live with it. All right. But as I say on every part, guys, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill, keep it player. All right. And don't let anybody get you off your pivot. All right. And until the next time, guys, we'll catch y'all on the flip side.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All facts, no feelings, man. With that said, another Conscious Approach video in the books. We signing off. And until next time, we'll see you later. Peace.
Peace. Go Canes. Go Canes.